Happy Monday. You guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Slow roll Monday.
Let's do this.
Going a little old school here.
Yeah.
A little Deep Purple. You guys like Deep Purple?
I like Deep Purple.
Sure.
Sure. Do you prefer Deep Purple or Purple Passion?
Deep Purple.
I don't know Purple Passion, so I'm
What?
going to go Deep Purple.
You don't know Purple Passion, really?
This is Deep Purple.
Yep.
See, the Deep Purple I know is Smoke on the Water.
Same band. Same band.
They can have multiple songs. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, they did. They made more than one. We're back. Another episode, the Soccer Dad Pod, on a Monday down here at Maggie O's. Kind of dreary day.
Yeah, it felt like one of those days where you could feel the snow coming. It's not going to snow, but it had that.
When I walked outside with Beckett on the way here, it was definitely not soft rain. It had a little bit of a
bite to it.
little icicle to it. I wouldn't say it was full on sleet / snow /
It's coming. You can feel it.
You know how when you have a ice cold pint glass
Yes.
that has frost on the inside and pours it in, and then you it's not ice, but it definitely is not just cold water. That's kind of what's going on here.
I know it's a very Midwest thing to say that you can kind of feel the weather coming.
Oh yeah.
But you can smell it, feel it.
Yeah. We're kind of stealing Jared's mojo here because usually he's the weather center guru.
Well, I wasn't predicting necessarily, just anticipating more than predict. Jared, what's your take on the weather today?
Don't care. I mean, it's shitty. The weather's shitty until May.
So daylight savings, all that popped off. Now the weather is shitty.
Yeah.
Are we expecting the dark to dark bad mood, Jared, for the next?
I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to be 60 and sunny on Thanksgiving, so that'll be good.
Yeah, I
And
plan
then,
on having a little fire.
You know, we had 2 travel weekends back to back in November in Detroit and Chicago, and we probably got, if we're talking weather, we probably got the best weather we could get in 2 back-to-back weekends in Detroit and Chicago in November.
Our worst weather game was in Indianapolis in October.
Yeah, November 19th in Chicago. You're in the far west suburbs. You're expecting high of maybe 30.
Yeah.
Windy,
and
it
sideways.
was 55 and sunny.
It was nice. I didn't have a jacket
What are you
on.
guys doing? I mean, we're recording this 2 days before Thanksgiving. Are you guys hosting? You going somewhere? What's the...
No, in-law, Mary.
Going over the east side?
Yep, she's maiden name Bertetto.
Yeah, okay.
Italian, right?
I'm in.
There are, in addition to the 2 versions of fried / baked turkey,
Yeah.
homemade ravioli, 7 different casseroles.
That'll be a good one.
Doesn't sound gross to me.
Nah, but the thing is, like, I'm not a turkey stuffing guy.
I'm not really either.
You keep it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the red wine and bread and butter.
Yeah, my brother. So I'm hosting this year for the first time. Well, we hosted it in 2020 during COVID. We had everybody outside. So this is the first time for real hosting.
Wait a minute. Whoa. In COVID, you had everybody outside because of the COVID rules?
Because I didn't want to give my mother, who has MS and Alzheimer's, any chance of getting COVID from myself or my family.
What was the temperature in 2020 on Thanksgiving Day?
It was about 54. We had heaters. We had fire. It was awesome. It was actually one of my favorite Thanksgivings of all time.
Okay.
Anyway.
Booze.
Oh, yeah. That was going as well. Good. But, Jared, what are you guys doing?
We're not hosting for sure, and I guess people listen to this that I love, but I'm not too excited about our Thanksgiving. I go where Kelly tells me, and it's not fun.
Do you wear fat pants or just normal clothes?
No, I just go and we eat, and it's not a very long thing, and then we go home.
Man,
it's going to be a long
day.
Well,
we can't have booze at our Thanksgiving, and to me, Thanksgiving in America without booze is like, I mean, I could be in jail and go to Thanksgiving dinner and be about the same thing.
Damn, no booze on Thanksgiving? That's like...
Yeah, it's non-American, I think.
That's like Snoop not smoking.
Yeah,
and you saw what he did there.
Yeah. I did.
He punked everybody.
He did. He punked me.
Ashton Kutcher jumping out of the wall there. Punked. Solo Stove just sold a hell of a lot of smoke-free fire pits.
Yep, I've got one. Not from that ad campaign, but...
You going to buy a second one now?
No.
Well, like I said, we're down here at Maggio's. These guys are great. Food's awesome. It is the holiday season. So whether or not you are dreading your outing or not, don't want to cook, hit them up. Take a tray of wings or pretzel bites or whatever. They got a full-on catering. Hook you guys up.
Dang, I should have got some flats.
Oh, yeah. The rub,
good.
Right? And today, I'm going to do a quick thank you to our boys over at thepinnacleloans.com because we're going to be talking to them a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little fun.
Yeah.
But I want to go ahead and move straight into the first round of Pinnacle Points of the Day.
Yeah.
What you got?
I've got two, but I'm going to start with one in particular that where JB and I think we have to eat a little crow. I think we have to. I'm sorry.
What is it?
Class 4, Class 3, high school state champions.
Oh, no.
Where did they come from?
Oh, no. No.
Kansas City.
That was my Pinnacle Point of the Day coming up as well.
Yep, so
what? But you go ahead, finish your point, and then I'll tell you why I'm not eating crow.
I think it's great that the championship are held here, but Rockhurst wins Class 4. Kansas City East beat our friends at Ladue. Barely, but they still won. And so...
Well, Ladue had a goal called back. They'd scored first. They were doing well. And hiccup late.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Everybody on Twitter, because obviously they have not forgotten about our account. As soon as that all started playing out, I got a bunch of messages. And you know what I did? I simply pointed it out to them because they pointed it out. That was the first time ever 2 Kansas City teams played in the final.
Yeah.
And proceeded to tell me, look, proof, we're soccer capital. And then I had to remind them that they pointed out
it was the first time.
That it was the first time ever.
Yeah.
And then the other part of the equation was, okay, guess what? You guys are clearly getting a little bit more competitive on the high school side. Congratulations. 200 of our top players can't play high school.
Yeah.
Across the board. So, look, I'm not making excuses. I'm just pointing out facts.
There's definitely elements that need to be called out. That I think the academy piece, where we have 3 academies in the high school range here in St. Louis, and there's 1 in Kansas City.
Yeah,
and they pull in a lot of kids from out of market.
That's what I was going to say. Over half of their rosters are out of market kids.
So while I said we're going to eat a little crow, we're going to eat a little bit. I mean, like a little bit.
I'm not even going to swallow. I'm just going to take a little.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to put my teeth on it, and then I'm going to spit it back out because I don't buy it. Jared, what you got? Pinnacle Point of the Day.
You go first.
Well, I just kind of glamped onto his. My pinnacle pet peeve of the day.
Oh,
it has to involve
the new thing we could ask them about.
Well,
because I could always do.
It's been pointed out to me that I tend to be awfully critical about public spaces and travel, and after the weekend in Chicago, this is no different.
Okay.
Here's the deal.
I'm ready.
I'm not even going to talk about truckers today. If you're in an automobile, 4-door sedan, truck, I don't care, right? The left lane is for passing.
Correct.
Specifically when there's a car behind you ready to go faster. Now, if you are doing the speed limit, or you're doing 5 over the speed limit, or 10 over the speed limit, I don't care. If somebody's waiting to get around you, get out of the way.
Yeah.
You cannot justify that as, well, I'm doing 5 over or 10 over. That's not an excuse. The way we avoid automobile wrecks in America, get out of the way.
Yeah.
So that the people that are driving faster and, can do their thing. It's little things.
55 up and back, and I made the track on Saturday and Sunday of this week, and it was awful slow with the shit you were talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it was bad. It was real bad. And then there was multiple people that you would just wait because you think they would get over like normal humans. And then you would be like, okay, I guess they're not getting over running 70 and a 72 and a 70 in the left lane. So then you just pull around them, and then you just politely give them that look. Lightly, I'll use that word lightly. And then I think they just think they're oblivious. I mean, I think there's more people driving a car right now that are oblivious to that rule.
It's
unwritten rule.
It is infuriating. That's why I'm like, we got to figure this out. We need extra. I'll pay. Take my taxes. I don't care. Oh, but I do want to say this though. I will give the state of Illinois credit, and you probably noticed this too. Significantly less construction, way more smooth roads. That was a good ride.
Yeah, except for like Joliet through Romeoville is pretty rough.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're doing construction.
Can't be perfect, you know.
Better than it has.
Well,
because
definitely can't. That's
I've been making that drive. I've been making that drive since spring of '98. Often, this is the best it's ever been.
I didn't ask you. How was the music show you went to?
It was great.
Was it good?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a whole bunch of soccer moms and dads. Simple way to put it.
Yeah. Playing instruments.
Playing not only on stage but in the room as well. So
okay.
It was a great time.
Okay.
All right, Jared, go. Pinnacle Point. What do you got?
My Pinnacle Point 3 today is our men's national team plays Trinidad and Tobago tonight. And if you are watching,
they play them again.
They play them tonight. Yep. What do you mean again? I don't.
I thought they just played them 2 nights ago.
Yeah, is this a home and away thing?
I don't know what it is, but our starting lineup is announced tonight, and it's pretty good.
Is Gio in?
Gio is in.
Okay, that's all I care.
The social media is blowing up right now with what formation they're going to play, and social media is hilarious surrounding our national team.
Is hilarious code for toxic?
I mean, yeah, maybe, but people are already talking about how bad they're going to play. Before the game's even started, they just announced the starting lineup.
Hey, I want to go back to the last game, I believe against Trinidad. Did you guys see what our boy Tim did to Berhalter?
I did not.
You didn't see the little clip?
No.
Kind of put him in his place.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Well, he's starting tonight, and he's the captain.
Berhalter's probably afraid because he was trying to bust on Gio. And Tim, last game, was like, that's what he's doing. Like, he was correcting him, like, no. I don't look, we're extrapolating and assuming exactly what's going on, but Tim Ream stared him in the eye and said, nope.
Well, here's your 4 backs, and I think awesome. This is probably it. Dest, Vickers, Robinson, and Ream with the captain's man. And I think that's probably your best 4 that we have to offer until somebody younger beats the old man who's got the captain band tonight.
He's not giving it up anytime soon.
I don't think he is either.
You know, the thing is, like, as long as you've got track stars to your left and right with his mental acuity, why would you ever take, like, short of him not being able to run, you keep him on the field.
Gio, Musa, they're both on the field. And I tell you what, this Pepe kid, he's creating a lot of buzz.
I like Pepe.
He's scoring goals.
I like him too. But you know who I like the most?
Gio.
No,
Gio. You can't not have that guy on the field. Like, in the next 2 to 4 years, you have to have him on the field.
Brendan Aronson gets a shot tonight, too, with Pulisic being down. Without question, JB, if all of the bullshit over the last 15, 18, 20 months, if Gio Reyna is not on our field, there's something wrong.
I'm rooting for Jamaica. If he's not playing, I'm going old school, like Jamaican bobsled team shit. I'm out.
Got it.
You guys ready for a quick break?
I've written it down. JB picks.
Put the date down.
Oh, I got it on there.
Thanksgiving 23. JB eats more crow. Or chews on it. Doesn't swallow it. That Kansas City high school soccer bullshit. Whatever. We're going to take a quick break. We're at Maggie O'Brien's. We're going to get a little bit of a refill. We're going to roll our illustrious, long overdue guests onto the mics. We're going to talk a whole bunch of soccer and more. So catch you on the flip side. Hey everyone, buying a home, it's kind of a big deal. Never has there been more competition to buy, so few homes to choose from, all made worse by an uncertain interest rate landscape. Now that you're short a bedroom for the third kid, you're in the wrong school district, and a walkable corner pub isn't nearly close enough, it's time to reach out to the Pinnacle Loan team for help. They work with a network of agents that have their feet on the ground across the whole region and have a number of loan products that are cost-effective with a process that is simple. Basically, they've got you covered from start to finish. So when it's time to buy, visit thepinnacleloans.com. That's thepinnacleloans.com. Simply the best in home loans. And we're back.
Howdy.
What do you think, Jared?
How do?
This one get you pumped up?
Yeah, I like this song. This is a good song.
I'm playing this one in honor of our guest today.
Is this video,
Yes.
are they in the rain?
Maybe. Pieces. Yeah.
I think some of this video, they're actually like performing in the rain.
Like on stage?
Just, I don't know. I just remember vaguely the rain. And I thought maybe that's why you played it.
Might have been Tawny Katane alternate video. You're getting your MTV classics mixed up.
Maybe.
This one is the Motley Crue. You guys know the name of the song, right? Come on. Oh my God, you two.
I know it once they say it.
Oh, really? It's
Home
called
Sweet Home.
Thank you.
I think it's called
In honor of our.
Hold on. Home Sweet Home.
Oh, good. Good. Man, can't get anything past you guys. Home Sweet Home to roll in our two guests today. From the PinnacleLoans.com. It's about time, man. I've been trying to do this for a minute.
Hey, it's a tough ticket to get, but we are happy to be here, I'll tell you that.
Well, Chris, thank you. And we have your older brother who looks slightly younger than you do at this point.
You're not the first person to say that.
Chris and Pete Gianino from the PinnacleLoans.com. How you guys doing, man?
Very well. Thanks for having us.
So when we finally got this thing ironed out, did you just circle it on the calendar in the office and just look at it every day and couldn't wait?
Hard to get anything done.
No, I said we're going. It's just name the date. We got to do it.
Yeah,
we got to show up. It's time to make it happen. So, season's over for now for me. So it worked out well, and Pete's got to head out shortly to go ref a game. But no matter what, we were going to make sure we made it here. So,
how bummed is Bill?
Bill is, he'd love to be here. I'm sure he'd love to be here. I mean, if there's an opportunity and a microphone, then it's where Bill would like to be. So he'll have to come on eventually.
Well, we'll have multiple opportunities, man. We'll do this again.
I was wrong. Home Sweet Home was not performed in the rain in the video. I think I'm thinking of November Rain, maybe.
That's what I thought you were thinking as well. I was like, that's not even the same band.
Not a Home Sweet Home video is all live. It's on stage. It's
in Nashville. I just looked it up, so I know that.
Oh, really?
It was actually videoed in Nashville.
And they got like backstage footage too and that kind of stuff. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can remember that, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Did you guys... Chris, you guys, look, I'm rolling in with Motley Crue. Got you pumped up a little bit, right? Because you know our deal. You know our shtick. You're kind of wondering, what the walk-up tune's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel good about that one?
Yeah, I think it was appropriate. I knew what we were walking into, but I was wondering what the song would be, and I think it was appropriate. Well done.
My first thought was you put your time in. You definitely put your time in for that.
I did. I woke up this morning and I was like, it came to me in a flash. I'm like, oh, this is no-brainer.
Perfect. We're
going Motley Crue tonight. Well, first off, obviously, I just want to say thank you for the support that you guys have tossed to the show. We've had a blast doing it, and it's funny because a lot of little nuanced things are occurring. Probably we the three of us talk about it often because of the show. Just little conversational hooks or the bingo card. Certain words are over and over, and what? And I mentioned to you briefly, Chris, a little while back. I have friends now that are like talking to me when we're out in public, and they'll be like, "Hey, I got a Pinnacle point of the day for you," and I feel kind of proud about that, right?
Yeah, it's become a thing for sure. I would like to know, because I know Jared has a history with you guys and knew you in the past. In the first time meeting both of you, and we reference your organization daily and multiple times throughout the day, which is great. But I don't know anything about either of you, and so I'd love to kind of kick it to you, Chris, to start off just by giving a little bit of background, stealing JB's question, the soccer history of you two, and just where you grew up, where you played, and then move on from there.
North side, south side.
And include your third brother.
Yeah, I was trying to get, once, Bill couldn't make it, I was trying to get Joe here because I was like, well, Joe would be perfect. He'd be very appropriate to come here. I'm the youngest of three boys, and both my older brothers, Pete and Joe, they got things started with athletics. We're involved in all sports, and soccer being the most important of all of them, I would say. But we grew up in South County. And we went to St. George Grade School back in the day, and then moved to Oakville. Both my brothers went to SLU. I went to CBC. I don't know, had to be different, I guess. Here,
I bet there's some shade thrown around the house.
I'd like to know how that went. Why did you go? Was it just friends that were going there?
Pete, would you like to answer that question for him?
As a lawyer often does, I'm just going to plead the fifth right now on that.
You should run for office.
We thought about it. Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where, these guys, they both played growing up. Joe played with he's right in the middle of us. So he played for Rensing. He played with Rensing on his team. A lot of guys, he was on Taylor's team at SLU. So that's the
Dave Beck, all those guys.
Yeah.
He Joe's a little bit younger than I am, I believe. He played with Bush.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we played. That was when it was select. So when you're younger, you play. A couple guys from your school go play select. So that was it. Basically played. I bounced around. I played for, Colping Kicks, Avalon. Tony Kuster started a team. Calcos played over there with them. And then.
How did your SLU brethren, or your brothers that went to SLU, how did they do their freshman year in high school? What was their records their freshman year?
I don't think it was 20-0-0.
I remember having a loss, so I don't think we were
20-0. Shoot. I brought the paper, but I left it in the car.
It's going to be a constant theme.
Well, let me ask a question for Pete, the older sibling here. You and Joe both go to SLU High. Chris comes along and chooses the enemy. How bad did you guys beat him the day that he made the announcement in the household?
It was a surprising situation, but it certainly fit, I thought, at the time. And, kudos to Chris. I think he excelled at that opportunity and at least spread the Gianino wealth a little wider in the city. So we were well represented in town.
And he's
good.
Well rehearsed.
Good.
Here, isn't
Wow, that was nice. That was just too nice.
That is not typically
Do
the
we
older
trust
brother.
me? We had
emergency
our share of,
quick break so we can kind of just
Tell them what we're doing here.
we need to be assholes here.
We should take a quick break, do 3 quick shots, come back, and get the
if
real
Joe
answers.
was here, you'd probably get different answers.
Yeah.
But it got loud. It was a loud house. I thought I was going to SLU. Actually, it was one of those things. Last minute, switch it up, and I don't know. It wasn't friends. I really didn't have the friends going there. It was just one of those things where I don't know.
Hey,
it seemed
we're
like
gonna
a better
see it.
fit.
His son is on the verge of making that same decision here in a month or two, so we'll see where the loyalties lie.
Can I ask you this question? And this is where you guys will throw something at me. Did the timing come in when the new school was built, or had the new school been built when you went there, Chris? Or
No, I was on Clayton Avenue.
you were on Clayton Avenue?
Yeah. I like the tradition, the history of it. I love the rivalry between SLU and CBC and the proximity that they were to each other. That's what made it real special. Now, sounds like my son is going to be going to CBC. I think I would like it if it was still on Clayton Avenue personally, but it's doing well. I mean, there's a lot of the same, not a lot, but a few of the same teachers there, same soccer coaches there. So
yeah, speaking of, let's go straight to that. Have you talked to Terry lately? Because we mentioned on the show a little while back that there's a GoFundMe for him. He's got some accumulating medical expenses due to just an unfortunate situation. Have you spoke to him lately, and how's he doing?
I have not spoken directly to him lately. I actually need to give him a call, but he, I think he's doing well. I talked to the other coaches who talk to him regularly, and it seems like he's in great spirits. I mean, if you saw him on the news a couple weeks ago, it seems like he is in great spirits and has intentions on coming back next year and coaching. So I loved to see that. I mean, he lives, breathes, dedicated his life to the sport. So that's where he wants to be, and that's his intention. So I hope he does, because I would love for my son to be able to experience him as a coach. I mean, it's very unusual to have a dad and a son play for the same coach of a high school. Very unusual, actually.
Well, your dad could have played for him as well.
You're right. I mean, that's crazy.
This will be his 51st season.
That's
so.
wild.
Yeah, so I guess it's not terribly uncommon.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Well, I mean, that would be an interesting number to see how many generations have played under him. And there's a few schools. Well, granted, I grew up in Granite, right? I know for a fact there was a number of players, dad and sons, and fathers and daughters, because he also coached on the women's side as well. That rolls out. So talk a little bit about those early days. So the club, household. You got three brothers, all three playing soccer. The competition both within the house, the club. Because there's a lot of parents that listen to the show that have multiples that are going through the same thing. Paint a picture. How did mom and dad juggle it all? Because obviously you guys were all going in three different directions, three different age groups, three different club teams. Pete, older brother, I trust you to answer this one first here.
Yeah, you look back today and you wonder how they did juggle it, but constant movement. If we weren't in some organized event, we were outside playing, and that's not a cliche. That was absolutely the case in our house. Three boys, neighbors. We lived on a cul-de-sac street, and so games were always available, constantly playing. And we were a 1 to 2 car household at most, and we weren't, so we weren't sharing ride. We had to do whatever it took to get to the field. Sometimes it was a bike, and sometimes it was a friend. But I don't know how they did it with three. I only have 2 kids, and that's a juggling act. Luckily, they're driving now, but I know Chris has a challenge with that, and I know all the parents now. It seems like, I guess everybody just stopped working so they could attend soccer practice and games, because no one seems to be working anymore.
It was a true 9 to 5 world.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, who's really 9 to 5, right?
No. Every high school game's at 4 o'clock, and I still made every game. I don't understand, how that, for my kids, I guess I stopped working at 3:30 for the last few years.
So give us a little bit of the logistics then on the child count, ages, they're playing, because if there's 3 brothers, there, we already know there's a lot of kids stacking up here. Chris, what's give me the lay of the land, the family trees with the youth on the youth side.
Well, what happened was basically Pete is extremely gifted in athletics and academics, and and he was the first one. Our parents were testing the waters. It was different back then too. Our parents weren't the type like us, where it was, how did your practice go? Those type of questions. It was, got you to practice, and now practice is over. Sounds good. There was no real big push. It was we were into it. We wanted to compete. We wanted to get after it. So, I mean, it was.
I'm going to interrupt and take him off the hook. I am a late soccer bloomer. My soccer is, I may be more involved in soccer than anyone in town right now, but back when we were in the day, I pursued like club soccer very minimally. I played for some independent teams, and then ended up at SLU probably just because I could run fast, but had not, didn't have the ball skills and stuff. But went to all the events that Joe and Chris went to, and then now my kids are. If I'm not talking about soccer, I'm in a courtroom or I'm closing a loan.
So Pete, you said you have two children,
Yeah.
right? Are they playing?
I have a freshman at Dayton who plays,
Okay.
And a junior at Narix who plays. Yeah,
Nice.
No, so
And-
Gallagher.
Chris?
And I have my son's 8th grade. He's bounced around a couple different clubs. Actually, just 2 clubs. Played for Scott Gallagher. Now he plays for STLDA.
Okay.
And he plays with Dave Beck over there.
Nice.
And then my daughter, she's on the GA team, 2011 girls
All right.
over
At
at
Fuse.
Lou Fuse.
All right. And what about Joe?
And then Joe played, and Joe, Division I athlete. He played at Marquette University after SLU, and then he has 3 kids. So one's at Chaminade, also plays for STLDA, and then he has a
Vader.
daughter that plays for Lou Fuse, and he coaches over at Lou Fuse with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then his third plays. Where does he play?
He's
now?
at Lou Fuse too, boys.
Lucas is at Lou Fuse as well. So yeah, we're deep into it. I mean, our a lot of coaching. Pete's also a ref, which I'm sure we'll get into as well. But basically, I never got a chance to play against Joe because, as you guys know, I played for my I played freshman soccer freshman year, and
He loves this transition.
and
I've been waiting all day for that too.
we'll definitely got to continue to touch on that. But I'll tell you what, I had Mike England my freshman year, and Mike England, if you know Mike,
He's down at St. Mary's now, isn't he?
yes,
Yep.
and after he was the coach at CBC freshman team for many years, and baseball, and he was algebra teacher. But he was one of those coaches that he had a major impact on the people, all the players on our team, and all the students around him. The guy is extremely passionate and knows how to get the most out of his players. He also played at CBC. He was a goalie, but you knew he cared. So I think that's a major aspect of a coach now. You could tell as a kid whether a coach cares or not, and what they're putting into it. So because a lot of coaches aren't right now. A lot of coaches are going through the motions.
Well,
it's their job.
Real quick, let's just address this because I picked up on pieces of your own involvement with CBC.
Yes.
What is your role with the high school in coaching? Go ahead.
Absolutely. So yeah, and just to answer your question, so then it was also after CBC, I went to play at Columbia College, played under Dan Hogan for 2 years, and then played under John Klein for 2 years, and it was an awesome experience in Columbia College. They're doing real well. I think they're playing for the Elite Eight tomorrow for NAIA, and he's got a heck of a track record over there now. John Klein Jr. was born when I started playing at Columbia College, to show my age, but you're what were you saying?
At CBC?
CBC coaching.
Coaching. Yeah. So right now I coach the second freshman team. I'm the head coach of the second freshman team. I did some coaching for the assistant, I guess, the vice president over there for his daughter, and an opening game. He asked me if I wanted to try and give coaching a try at CBC, and it was, it's only a couple months. It's the times worked out, so I figured I would give it a shot. So I just finished my second season over there, and then help out with some of the other teams as well. But primarily, I do the second freshman team as a head coach.
Nice.
Got it. So at the end of the day, you spend a lot of time around the game between coaching and kids, and Pete, real quick, because we were talking earlier how you got to roll out of here in a little bit. Now you're reffing too. A, why, and B, why? ref.
And it's do you, I mean, so your eyesight's going bad, huh?
Clearly. That's pretty good.
For the audience, though, he's wearing no corrective lenses that we can see.
I'm surgically repaired.
There you go.
Okay, LASIKs that didn't take.
That's right. It's funny the why question is really simple. When my oldest daughter was starting high school, she said that she can't wait for high school and she's going to get her nails done every week and go out to lunch every day, buy the cafeteria food. And I said, oh, how are you going to do that? And so I said, you need to make some money. And she was into soccer, so I said, why don't we do this together? This will be a good thing to do together. And we refed one game together, and then I did the next 500 myself.
Jeez. That doesn't sound very equitable.
But she still gets her nails done. So no, and I got into it. It was a miserable first game we did. First 2 game set we did. It was a night not unlike this one, but maybe 15 degrees colder and snowing. And she, I thought I was going to have to take her straight to the hospital because of frostbite. But she got through it, and
I bet Mom was really happy about that, right?
She thought I had another great idea.
Yeah. So talk about the level that you're reffing at, and age groups and boys and girls, and do you have a goal to take this? Because you're still a young man, it looks like you're in very good shape. Which to be a ref at the highest level, you have to be in very good shape, as you know. You have to endure a lot of miles. What's the goal here, and what are you currently doing?
I get asked this question a lot. I probably could do a lot more. I mean, I ref, the highest level I ref is college.
Okay.
And I do, I'll do college, MLS Next, ECNL, GA, and everything, the whole gamut, high school.
Okay.
I just finished 4 high school playoff games and a college playoff game. So I do those levels of games. I don't think I'm going to pursue anything beyond this just because of I don't know what that means. I got 3. That would be my 3rd full-time job, and I don't think I don't have the capacity for another one. But.
Well, a friend of the show, another blind ref, George Gadsder.
George. Yeah.
He has made quite the career out of it.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I love giving him shit, and I think let's be serious. I think George was a very competent ref in his time.
Yep.
At
the risk of saying something in front of one of my bosses, with my air quotes, is that that's of the 3 things I do at a high level of intensity, I guess. Reffing is one of the jobs where every single day there's an opportunity to be better than yesterday, and it's amazing how you can actually feel that happening.
What's your favorite gender, your favorite age, and your favorite? I mean, what do you like to ref the most? Like, as far as is it ECNL girls? Is it that college playoff game that you did? What gets your blood going?
High school, grade school.
Yeah, I love reffing high level games with great teams and great refs.
That's a better answer than John Mulaney, the comedian, said. You can say things like, I like kids, but you can't be specific. Like, I like 12-year-olds. So, good answer, Pete.
Well, yeah, because let's be honest, you want to do a great job and you want to be entertained a little bit, but the worse the competition and the worse the coaching and the worse the people that you're working with, a 90-minute game feels like 3 hours.
So I want to ask. Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was going to ask a follow-up to Jared's question, which is maybe what you're trying to get at, which is you're coaching a variety of levels on the spectrum of quality within the teams, within the coaching. When you're talking about an ECNL game versus an MLS Next versus a high school, can you talk about the crowd?
Yeah, the
and
environment.
which ones are the ones you're like, oh boy.
Lowest level soccer, worst crowd.
Yeah.
CYC.
I haven't done CYC yet.
You're so lucky.
But what I'll say, if I go
Take a shank with you to those games these days.
And I gotta give my attorney caveat, of course. Like if if I appreciate all the kids that are working hard, whatever. But at some point at Sunday at 4:30 game at Rush, slice of Division 7, you're kind of like, and people are screaming at you like, "Are you blind?" Then I'm not very kind sometimes coming back, but if I'm doing like a City 2 game, if I'm doing like City 2, and it's completely intense the whole time, and people are yelling at you on both sides every call, and every player's taller than me, and they're all fast as lightning. And then afterwards, they're all very respectful, and I get it. Over time, you understand what you got to do during the game to get through the game, to compromise, your emotions, and then to say to these players, "I see you, I see you, I see you," even though they're yelling and screaming and cussing, and you get through it, and then you know what the end is going to be, as long as you do it in a way that is. They can all respect, and you can acknowledge them all.
And you said it really perfectly, I thought, which is you can kind of look back and then get better for the
evaluate for sure.
Well, Chris, let me bring you into the same question, because you are the opposite
right.
As far as like the ref versus the coach, and I would say this is really a triangular issue where you have the parents on one corner, you have the referees, and then you have the coaching staff. Kids are all in the middle, right? You, having grown up with the game, you got kids that play the game. You're now dealing with the youngest of teens at the freshman level. When it comes to the referee and the fans, just the elevated nature of parents today, what's your position on that? Do you wish your fans would not say anything, golf clap, be raucous? How do you manage that? Or what are your own personal expectations as a coach for the parents of your kids?
It's always good to set the expectations, but at the same time, it's never been a priority of mine. Honestly, I really don't pay attention to the parents at all. I don't even see them when I go to a game or consider them. I'm just engaged in the players and the situation. Now, it's funny because when I go to see Pete in the morning after a game, and I might tell him a situation that happened with the referee, the perspective is probably much different. He sometimes acts like he understands what I'm saying, but at the same time, I'm just another coach.
Well, I can't fucking see you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Good point. But no, I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah. So to me, it's just, I'm not in it. Now, I think it's, the conversation, and I'm going to call it conversation, between a coach and a referee, it's a part of the game. There's an art to it. I mean, you have to bring certain things to their attention. I mean, whatever you focus on expands that whole part of the game. So I think things need to be brought up to refs at times, and if you do it the right way, then it's part of the game. If you do it the wrong way, then, usually you get thrown out.
Or you pay for it the rest of the game.
Exactly. You're going to pay for it. You got to understand how to do it. Otherwise, it's going to backfire on you. So everybody's human. That's the thing. The refs are human. The coaches are human. The players are human.
Pete, have you ever reffed one of your brother's games?
Yesterday, reffed Joe.
Not mine. Not as a coach.
I reffed Joe 2 or 3 times this weekend. Honestly, I didn't call a penalty kick in their favor. Pretty obvious one because they were crushing this team, and it was late in the game.
Oh, fair enough.
Same thing any ref would do.
Does the other team know that you're brothers of the other coach?
That team was from Illinois. They had no idea.
People in Illinois listen to this podcast.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Especially in the 62040.
And now they know exactly
The thing about Pete is, I mean, he's moved through the ranks on reffing extremely quick. I mean, you might be in your second year of reffing, you're doing all the highest level games, but he's people like him as a ref. He's highly respected as a ref, and that's why he's moved up quickly.
So are you saying that because he's got one of your games?
He's got two of my games tomorrow.
There we go. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, here's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get some refills here. We're down in Maggie O'Brien's talking to Chris and Pete from thepinnacle.loans.com. We're gonna be back. We're gonna talk some more soccer, parenting, chaos, and what else, Jared? What's
APR.
APR.
Oh, I like that.
Fed funds rate.
Yep.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I don't even know what APR means. No, I'm just kidding. I do know what APR means. But what I will say is we also need to broach the subject. Why is there a referee shortage, and can we fix it?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm ready.
On the flip side, refills. See you.
The term staycation was really invented by soccer moms. Located 1 hour and 7 minutes from the Arch, the Music Box Chalet at Innsbruck is a hidden gem. Buried in 3 acres of private woods, the Music Box has a master suite for just you, a loft and second bath for them, and a vinyl collection to meet your every mood. The full-size kitchen will easily accommodate 3 to 12 bottles of rosé, while the huge fire pit seating area will keep the big kids busy. Golf, fishing, kayaking, pickleball, or simply reading a book with Mother Nature, all at your fingertips. Visit either VRBO or Airbnb to find the Music Box Chalet. And now, back to those guys.
I can't
Monsters and Men.
No. Close up.
I can't whistle.
Do you suck in or blow out?
Neither.
You just ruin them both.
I can't whistle.
Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros.
Magnetic Zeros.
Song is called Home. We're on a theme here. You like
catch
that?
it? Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Buried in these lyrics is 4.5 30-year fix somewhere. And I think it's the second verse.
You got to listen backwards.
Yeah, you got to play backwards. Yeah, 5-year jumbo. It's like the bridge. All right, gentlemen. Hey, thanks for joining us. You guys having fun so far?
Absolutely.
Not too bad.
Good.
It's good.
You guys both have notebooks, though.
We do.
I'm wondering. You've been wondering the same thing.
What's in the notebook?
I know.
I
Oh,
don't.
it has nothing to do with you guys.
Really?
No, it does. It does. Just, hey, I mean,
We have fleeting thoughts. We want to make sure they're available.
So when Jared and I have thoughts, we generally try to not remember them. That's why we don't.
Or you
take
just
notes.
blurt them out.
well, I understand.
Blurt them out too.
Why?
Especially Jared.
when I have
played
thoughts,
with you
JB
before.
says don't say it.
As soon as I see him staring up the sky, I'm like, no.
Well, you're controlling the mixer, so
Right.
that helps.
He's been muted a couple times. I got to call something. We're at Maggie O's. We're in the dining area.
Yep.
I've seen one of the bartenders walk by with a
Bow and arrow.
compound bow with an arrow in it. Not like
It's deer season.
Downtown
I
St.
know,
Louis.
Where are they going?
Are there a lot
Gotta
of deer
find
around here?
I don't think so. I've seen rabbits and mice.
Yeah, they're a little bit more muscular though. You don't want to eat the meat down here. Kind of big, and the points are not even. So
I'm curious. We've been digging around the theme a little bit. JB's played a couple songs with the term home in it. Most people who've ever listened to our show know we do the Pinnacle points, Pinnacle Loans for homes, hence the theme. But we also had Don Draghi on, who did mortgage stuff as well. I think he was more title, and
I don't know. He had the coolest cards though.
he did other really cool business cards. So in a market like today, where things are a little more challenging for a loan procurement person, meaning somebody who wants to buy a house, how are things going for you guys? What are you doing to address some of those concerns? This has nothing to do with soccer. I'm just genuinely curious.
Yeah,
There's a few homeowners that listen.
I know.
true. I mean, in this market, we have been known. We just stay steady. We stay steady because our focus has always been on helping people purchase homes. Certainly, we're readily available when people need to refinance, but we've always been primarily focused on purchase business. So it's difficult with the inventory and everything else for people to actually get under contract and have a team that is able to be aggressive while still protecting the client. So if it's speed and we have to close loans quickly, then we do it. If it's making communication with the listing agent, or being available nights and weekends. I mean, I was in Arkansas for soccer over the weekend, but I was on the phone often on Saturday and Sunday in between my daughter's games, taking care of clients and making sure, because you can't plan when you're going to get under contract. It's always going to be at an off time, or a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon or Saturday night. So that's primarily what we do. Also, my brother Pete, he was involved in he's a contract specialist. He's been involved in the implementation of the residential real estate contract. So he's a wordsmith, very helpful when it comes to navigating through that and how to word certain things in a contract when you're making an offer while still being protected but being aggressive. So rates, we're going to take care of people. We have great rates because we're brokers. We have access to wholesale rates, and we take care of our clients. But all of our businesses, this is the only marketing we do. This show is the only marketing that we do. Everything else is word of mouth or referrals. So we've been all right because just stay steady with the purchase business, but rates have been dropping for the past couple weeks. So I think that's optimistic and for home buyers as well.
I love watching this because as you're talking, I'm staring at the attorney and I'm waiting for him to shake his head no. And he was just nodding yes the whole time. So you guys have practiced that, haven't you? You got that down.
We've been in many rooms together, speaking with companies and whatnot.
But how crazy is it though? I mean, because all of us are, we're dipping and dodging in and out of either upsizing or downsizing or school districts or whatever. Have you ever seen anything like the race to the one that's available given inventory is so low? I mean, the 10, 20, 30% above list price. Have you ever seen anything like it, like in the years that you've been doing this, Pete?
The competition's unusual right now for sure, and it trickles down to each component of the transaction, right? To whether it's the title company or the mortgage company or the realtor, there's competition at each stage. So not only is the prospective homeowner competing for that home, but each person that needs to help with that process is competing for that business. So that competition just permeates the whole process right now. But yeah, directly to your point, it seems crazy. We can all say it, from a bird's eye view. It seems crazy to say, why would you pay $50,000 over asking price? Well, The reason is really simple. There's two reasons. One is because there's nothing else, or the second reason is because I want the home. If you fall in love with the home today, get the home today. And then we'll deal with financial issues. That you're buying a mortgage potentially for 30 years. There's going to be an opportunity to make it better or to change your perspective. Maybe you find a new home in 5 years. So if you love this home today, get the home today. Yes, there's some pain points you need to overcome in doing it, but that's there's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be
pain points. Is that code for cash? Lots of cash, truckloads of cash.
Lack of cash causes pain, but also so does lack of a good place to live.
Hey, let's flip it back to the pitch a little bit, and we're going to go back in time because we've mentioned it time and time again. You couldn't wait for this moment. So let's talk about what year was that? What year was that freshman phenom role of perfect season?
It must have been 1994.
94.
Yes.
Paint a picture for us. You are now. This is a PBS documentary. Give us an idea of what happened in fall of '94.
Well, I'll tell you. Preseason had a lot to do with it as well. Preseason was a lot different back then too. So you have a group of guys that have never met as freshmen. They come in together, and
which school?
CBC. And I think a lot of the schools had preseason similar, at least some. And
well, let me stop you. Here's what I'll say: the reason why people know each other, there's one reason, is either they played on Metro or Scott Gallagher or Bush together, and you guys were pretty spread out. You didn't have that typical Metro school where 8 guys came from the same team. Like I think Bill and like Michelson came together maybe, and Katke. Those guys were on that team, correct?
Not Michelson, but
Not Michelson.
Bill Kaki.
Michelson was a Chaminade guy, but Bill Kaki.
Yeah.
But like Jason Pro, he wasn't on that team.
He was on it.
He wasn't on Metro, but he was on CBC.
Yeah. Right.
So you guys were all go ahead, but you guys were all coming from different places.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was coming from different places. You were a freshman, so you're excited. It's a new time in your life. You're ready to spread your wings a little bit. And then you get there, and the very first thing you do is you run 2 miles. It's supposed to be under 12 minutes, and you do it at the track, on the track at CBC. And then after you do that timed, then we go over to Forest Park, and you play. You compete, small-sided games, just as hard as you can compete. And then before lunch, you run sprints up the hill at Forest Park. And
if you're a soccer player at 14 years old going to play soccer at CBC, is getting 2 miles under 12 minutes really that hard?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think you have to prepare for it. Most people, you didn't. Depends on how good you were, whether it mattered or not. I mean,
I don't think it matters at all if you're good, but if you just played soccer, I mean, at 14 years old, you could run for hours and hours and hours and hours.
I don't know. I just saw 8th grade classes 2 mile or 1 mile run for grade school. I just looked at every person in the class's time, and I don't think anybody was below 6 minutes on one mile.
Okay, go ahead. I'm breaking in, and I'm trying to fight this, but go ahead.
Then you run sprints. Then you run sprints up a hill, break for lunch. Come back after that, run another 2 miles at Forest Park.
Ooh.
Then you play bigger-sided games, and then you finish it off with sprints. But you do that every day for a couple of weeks. You're creating a bond. Like, you've been through some things with some people.
Yeah, see, Jared's not impressed because out at St. Dom, they were smoking Marlboro Reds in between those laps.
Well,
and still, what were you getting, like 10-minute 2 miles, something like that?
No, I wasn't doing 10-minute 2 miles. But, I mean, I think at that point in my life, running a 2 mile in 12 minutes, I could have maybe done it better.
Anybody could do it.
Let me take this a different way, because at that time, in those years, right, Terry had already won a number of state titles. Vianney had just ended their run of just rolling the table for a number of years. Obviously, SLU prior to that had a couple state titles in the mix. You look at the broader area on the east side, Collinsville and Granite were winning all the state titles. You were going to CBC at a time where the Big Four, CBC, SLU, DeSmet, Vianney, DeSmet those years too. Like, you were going into a program that, if you do not win state, that is not a successful year. So as freshmen, you go in, to Jared's point, a lot of these other schools had kind of a community club element to the entry level, right? Where there was a lot of people. Did you realize at the time, like, the stress or the expectation, or was it just, we're freshmen, let's go let's just see how this thing goes?
No, you realize that the tradition was a big part of what drew me to the school, big time. And my point is strength through adversity. That's you've been through some things. It was we were expected to win every game. I mean, we all played freshmen. We had one person that made varsity out of our class. That was Mike Gallagher. He was the goalie for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Besides that, and one person played on the JV team. Tim Walshauser. He was the biggest player.
He was a big kid. He was a big kid going into high school.
And then it was, but the thing was, we played SLU 3 times, DeSmet 3 times. We played everybody 3 times in the season, and there was no ties. My point is, it was just a different environment. On varsity, you had Di Maria, you had the Moriartys, you had Eric Kuster, and I know at least 9 people on that freshman team went on to play in college. But it was, you guys had somebody on your show. He wanted to play for Vianney at some point. Who was that?
Mike Slavinsky.
Yeah, he wanted to play. He wanted to go there to be seen. That was back when you wanted to go there to be seen. I know right now, and this might happen more and more, but I know there's a handful of people next year that are playing academy ball, that plan on playing varsity at CBC next year, if they make it.
Well, I mean...
okay, and so we can agree on that it was a different era for sure, because let's be frank, that 94 year, going in as freshmen, there was very, very good varsity soccer players there that went on to have very decorated careers, collegiately and even professionally. so like making freshmen, which I make light of all the time, and just to bust your balls because I feel like I can do that. That's no small feat to because at that time there was one freshman team.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in a world now where a lot of these programs are no-cut programs, or they're expanding all the teams. In your day, in our day, right, at the programs we all played at, no, there was 18 and 2 alternates, at each level, and that was it. So there was definitely you are trying. There was a select component to it.
And credit when credit's due. If you're playing all those MCC schools, other freshman teams, which all of those other MCC schools, if you have to play them 3 times, and you can beat them 3 times, all of them 3 times, that's no small feat.
It was we keep it alive. We keep those numbers alive. We make sure that. Somebody sends it to Coach England every year, or he sends it out just to keep that going. But I mean, Rockhurst this year went 24-0 on their varsity team, one back to back.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Are you?
Because Zach at the beginning of the show pointed out that we had to eat a little crow because of the high school results over the weekend. I want to get your take on this because we all. Pete, yourself as well at SLU, we all know the pedigree. We know the history that we all came from. And this year was the first time ever in Class 4 2 Kansas City teams played in the final. First time ever, right? Why? I want to get your opinion as to what you guys might think, where the shift is that is allowing this monstrosity of a truth to occur within the high school game in our marketplace.
And Pete, did you do the games? Because you said you did 4 high school playoff games.
The most relevant one that we would be talking about, I guess I did the Vianney-Lindbergh district final.
Okay, go ahead. So answer the question. I'm sorry to cut it.
Yeah, talk about the landscape, Pete. You go first.
Maybe it could be a number of factors. One would be, I think, the path to the finals. Not to digress, but my daughter's played in the state cup, the state final 3 years in a row and lost at Nerix, and there's always it seems to me an intentional attempt to get a west side of the state team a path there, and it works. I don't know the politics behind it, but that could be one thing. I think another factor is especially on the boys' side, would be the number of players who don't play high school soccer.
Bingo.
Chris, what do you think, man? You're really close to it. Obviously, you've got a passion for CBC in particular. You've been around the high school game for a long time now. There's to a degree, it appears there's a changing of the guard that's happening in real time. Because the other aspect of this is also, when have we ever seen the amount of public schools in the St. Louis area continue to get achieve the level of successes that they are? Starting with Webster a handful of years ago, look at Lindbergh this year, Rockwood Summit. At a lot of different levels, public schools.
Ladue.
15 years ago, I mean, it's a non-starter. You're going to go straight to the MCC for the power ranking, but it's spreading out. Why do you think that's happening?
The way to say this is Chris Gianino with 2 older brothers who's picking, I might go to SLU, I'm going to go to CBC. Well, you lived in South City, you said at that point?
Oakville.
Oakville?
Wow. Yeah, Oakville.
So, the kids were not picking going to Oakville or Lindbergh if they were soccer players. They were picking on where they're going to land out in the Metro Conference when we were growing up.
That's true, but I have a passion for both sides. My kids play, club ball, but I think there is still an element to the high school. There is still a tradition there. There is still that element on it. I mean, you go to a CBC SLU game or a DeSmet Vianney game or Chaminade game. I mean, there's still a pride there. Of course, you have 3 academies in the St. Louis area, which is probably it's different than that in Kansas City.
Yeah, they have 1, and only 50% of the players are from Kansas City.
So yeah, it's different. So because it's not just the juniors that are playing academy. You have your sophomores that are playing academy, freshmen are academy, and then you multiply that by 3 different clubs. So obviously there's going to be a different dynamic. Now, the whole club high school argument, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's it's different for every single individual. It depends on the coach. It depends on what you love about it, what you don't love about it. I could go into that for endless amounts of time. I mean, I think there's lots of aspects to it, but I think, of course, plays a part. You have to acknowledge that plays a part.
Well, let me ask you guys, and jump in, either one of you. You have kids. Well, you have a son that's playing.
My daughter plays at Dayton. Yeah.
Oh, daughter's at Dayton. Okay, sorry. So you have kids that one is playing at the higher level, and then you have a number of children across the siblings that are all playing club, playing high school, etc. Does it come up? Is there conversations with them as far as like path or expectation or wanting to play at the next level, and where does the choice or the conversation as it applies to which club, which high school, does that factor into the decision or the goal of your child? Have you guys had those conversations?
We don't have enough time for that question, but yeah, absolutely. But I hate to say it with such vigor. Like, as far as girls are concerned, I think in private schools, Nerix seems to be the place to go for soccer right now. I mean, St. Joe's has had a great success, and St. Dominic has had great success, but all girls schools, Nerix is the place to go. But she liked it for other reasons too, right? And as far as clubs concerned, you might say you have to go ECNL if you're a girl, but my daughter never played ECNL, and always wanted to play in college. So yes, the path matters, but there are so many other variables that the path doesn't guarantee a damn thing, and there are some really fun paths that don't have those requirements. Like if you choose the thing that you're having the most fun at, that doesn't guarantee anything, but sometimes it really works.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that statement. I agree with that.
I think Emma had that experience, which is kind of unique. Yeah.
Well, I think because we have had this conversation over and over and over again, and it's funny because it's as much as it seems as if there would be kind of like two parallel options that are kind of trying to go the same way, really isn't. I mean, it's so new. It's like a tree. It spreads out as far as the why and the how. But my question is, how do your kids view it? Because the market, the soccer market that we all live in, that we grew up in, it doesn't look the same, right? It is significantly different right now. How do they view it when expressing their goals?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, I have a son and a daughter. They're at those ages right before high school. I mean, I think for them, it's not like, oh, I need to be, you've been through, how many stages you go through from when you're 5 years old and you start playing all the way through the end of high school and beyond. I mean, you go through so many different stages in the beginning trying to figure it out and what team you should be on, or I didn't make this team. Oh man, but I made this team. And then you just have so many different ups and downs, and I think there's benefits to every single one of them. As far as our kids go, and if we were going to have that conversation with them, which we do almost, a lot less now because they're getting older, and it's like, you want to do something, do it.
Yeah.
But I think in general, they want to, my kids specifically, they want to be on teams where they can compete in big games with like-minded players. That's when it's fun, when you're playing with. Fun is not, running around in circles and doing the hokey pokey. I mean, fun is when you're playing for something bigger than yourself. It's not tennis, it's not golf. You got to play for the person next to you, and you want to make sure they're in it just as much as you are. Where after a game, you can just look at the player and you don't even have to speak anything, but that you just went through some things and you came out with the victory because of what you guys put into it. That strength by adversity. So they want to be on teams like playing big games, be able to compete for championships, and play for coaches that believe in them. And you're not going to get that every single time. Sometimes you're getting a coach that doesn't believe in you. But nowadays, it seems like you get a different coach every other year. So as long as you can get something from that previous coach on Maybe that's good. You needed that. Now you have an edge. You can play with the chip on your shoulder a little bit. Or this coach, you had to play very robotic. And you weren't able to play as freely. Now all of a sudden you can play freely, but your free wouldn't be as good as of a free play if this other coach before wasn't on you and make you be robotic. So it's like, I think you just have to, it's like burning the ships. I'm on this team, I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to make it work. It has to work. And then next season goes by, you can make another decision. But when you're in that season, you make it work. And my kids, I think they just I think like all of our kids, they love going to practice. I just had a conversation with Pete about his daughter at Dayton. Her season just ended. They lost in the semifinals of the conference tournament against LaSalle. Then SLU went on to win the conference. They ended up losing last night. But I mean, she looked forward to every practice. My kids look forward to every practice. I know from listening to the show, your kids are all about it. You know, I mean, it's not like we're not, hey, you have practice again. They're interested and want to go and want to compete. Now, it's usually the parents who are like saying things about your coach. Right. You know, it's not, the kids are like, what do you mean? Oh, I thought everything was good. So I think that's it. I mean, you could have all these conversations with kids and try and figure out what they want. But at the same time, they don't even know what they want. It's when preparation meets opportunity. If you could take advantage of that, then you're going to take advantage of that. But you got to be prepared.
You sound like you're kind of like Terry Mickler's the little monster in the back of your head. Are these all Micklerisms?
I don't know.
Look at his notebook. Does he look like Terry? I mean, come on.
That's what
I do take notes when Terry talks. I will say that.
When Terry came and sat down with us, Zach talks about this all the time. Like, he was so thoroughly impressed because there was literally, you had zero knowledge or kind of expectation, and he walks in with the notebook and he's taking the notes and, you know, looking you in the eye and first name, you know, that's a good question, Chris, you know, and it was really cool. Do you catch yourself, like, at this point in your life, when you say certain things, do you, like, turn around and be like, oh my God, Coach Mickler said that?
Well, I wish I had more experience with Coach Mickler. I haven't had, I mean, I knew him from his philosophies and studied materials that he studied. I broke my leg 2 years in a row. I broke my tibia halfway through my junior year, and then had to go through, you know, 8 or 9 months of rehab, and then went through varsity preseason, our senior year varsity preseason, completed that, and then the very first practice, the very first actual practice, broke the same break again.
Oh my God!
I guess I'll cross this off my notes to talk about.
So after that, it was just.
Did Billy cheap shot you?
Well, no, it was just a fluke thing. It was fluke. It wasn't even a full-fledged thing.
Can we say Billy cheap shotted you?
Yes.
We could say Pro did, but it wasn't a cheap shot. But he was a hell of a teammate, Jason Pro.
Yeah.
But it was, and then Joshua Mateo had to drive me to the hospital after that in my stick shift, which he didn't know how to really drive. So it was but no, he got me there. It was going to be a real fun year with Joe and all these guys I've been ready to play for senior year. But then went through the same thing, 9 months of rehab, strengthened it, and then never sat out a day in college for an injury. It just was strengthened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
congratulations. Because, I mean, mentally going through that from 15 and a half to 17 and a half or whatever the age group was, to do that with that kind of soccer injury with those breaks back to back, I mean, I can't believe you're not more of a basket case than you are already.
Well, I take that as a bigger compliment than you could ever imagine.
Jared, you're exactly right. I mean, I was when that happened, all I could worry about was like his mental state.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't know. I was just an observer, and I thought, how could anyone like deal with this? You just got back on the field, and then it just happened again.
Golly.
Like the next week, it was unbelievable. So it was hard to watch. Yeah, but he did.
So what's
speaking of which, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
But this transition just came to me. One thing I was going to say, when you're evaluating this path, you know, we identified the path. You know, I don't ignore the moment, of course. And maybe I didn't plan this, but one thing we always told my daughter as we were contemplating the options is, let's conduct the broken leg test. If you break your leg, would this be an environment you still want to be in?
That is a great point. Damon Rinsing.
He was in school with me.
Yeah, Damon says the same thing when he's talking to recruits.
Yep.
That you've got to, he doesn't call it the leg break test, but he references the idea that
We're going to start calling it the Chris G.
When shit is hit the fan.
Yeah.
well, not even that. Just if soccer doesn't work out
Yep.
because of an injury or because you don't get playing time because you're not as good as you thought you were, or you change, programs, is that environment a good fit for you?
The portal is crowded right
Yeah.
now.
That's why I went to Columbia College and not Benedictine.
Yeah.
Or something like
Yeah,
that. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
But that's a great question to ask for sure.
I love that. Yeah, that's the leg break test. I like that.
So, let's get to brass tacks here. Thanksgiving is in, 3 days from the recording? Turkey or ham? What do you eat?
Both.
Yeah, I eat everything.
Got several. We have so many different Thanksgivings.
Who hosts?
Yeah.
Like who? And like the 3 o'clock Thursday.
I think I'm coming to yours, Zach.
Good.
Who's
Come on over.
Who's the
Thursday?
anchor? Is
Yep.
it?
On Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
Is
'Cause
it
Thanksgiving's on a Thursday this year.
patriarch
This year.
house, or do you guys just all go spouse route? What do the
We,
Gianinos do on Thanksgiving?
The Gianinos kind of have a tradition that's been recently adopted, that we kind of have a family farm that we all convene at and do the overnight deal on Wednesday. So we'll do that. Chris will chop wood, and we'll drink wine and have fires and that kind of thing. It'll be good.
That sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome. And with your last name, Gianino,
Yeah.
I hope you guys can cook. I mean,
It's
is
a ridiculous
is it edible?
feast.
Is it
It's a
turkey
ridiculous
lasagna?
feast. It's not
turkey
that bad.
lasagna.
Well, for Christmas every year we have ravioli that we make 3 weeks prior to.
That's what. Hey, what did I just?
God bless Italians.
My
They're
wife's
fucking
family's
nuts, but God bless
Bertettos.
them.
Okay.
They're over Illinois coal miner Italians, so we get homemade ravioli.
There's nothing like it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Homemade ravioli.
And salsiccia.
It's
Oh, man.
the works. But basically, yeah, our grandmother, luckily, before she passed away, she would come over, cook once a week with our wives, and then we would just, once a month, and made sure everybody had all the recipes because, they're all up here. You can't really.
His wife has it down for sure.
So after this 7 bottles of
Vino.
red, which of the brothers can take each other right now? Is this still an older brother thing? Because you clearly are fit.
I can just
Not
run
that you don't look
fast.
fit.
That's it. I ain't gonna be the one to throw the first punch.
You plead the fifth.
Yeah, exactly. I'm running fast.
Gentlemen, Chris.
My
Pete,
money's on Chris.
Yep, absolutely.
He's got that look.
It's always been.
Man.
It's always
He's
been.
a little.
time,
He's a
right?
little crazy.
He's a
He's
little
got
crazy.
that- maybe hanging out with Bill too
I
much.
played in the CYC league with him. He's a little fucking nuts.
I think that was, you got me mixed up for one other guy who was playing on our 4v4.
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Hey, fellas, again, can't thank you enough for continuing to support the show. We've been having a blast doing it. We really hope you enjoy supporting and checking out the episodes, and I'm really glad you joined us. Best of luck over the holidays. We'll definitely be in touch. We got to get Bill on here. We got to do this more often. Bounce around a little bit. Zach?
I'm just really thankful to meet both of you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have a great holiday.
Yeah,
Our pleasure,
I appreciate it. And just, I mean, you guys are doing great work here. I mean, you're doing a lot this podcast alone is contributing to the history of soccer in St. Louis. It's a big deal.
Yep.
And I just wanted to commend you guys on that because, I mean, you could sit there with your kids and you can listen to a conversation that's very specific and relevant to their everyday life. And it's a huge contributing factor. That's why we want to support it. So appreciate you guys doing that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. I do have a question for you, though. If you have kids listening with you, when Jared starts to talk, do you say earmuffs?
You know how it goes. Have you ever heard these kids warm
It's
up
too fluid.
songs?
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
again,
Hey,
guys.
have a great holiday.
You too.
Jared, Zach, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Maggie O's. Appreciate the host. And if you need some catering, some flats, some pretzel bites, some whatever, right? Give them a call.
They don't have a homemade ravioli.
No, but you don't have to cook it.
Yeah, you're right about that. You don't have to homemade it.
I don't have
Make
to
it.
cook mine either. My mother-in-law does that. So it's all good. Hey, we'll catch you next time. Take care. Have a good holiday.